in my resolution, I mentioned that in the annals of man's eccentricity,
Well, let's not talk about annals. Let's talk about the annals of Philippines.
and idiosyncrasy, I have never come across a similar promo like this. Not even in Ripley's Believe It or
Is
Not.
that good or bad?
Well, this one is bad for Pepsi, but it turned out, after my resolution was released, it's good for Pepsi.
What was the salient?
But the business itself, I think, is affected.
Definitely.
Your resolution dismissed close to 1,000 cases filed against
1,370. I acted as a logician, more of a logician, when I tackled this, when I resolved these cases.
Are you implying that lawyers and judges and prosecutors should act more like logicians than as legally trained people?
You know, Rod, law is nothing but common sense and logic, modified by the legislature. So law is common sense. A judge who asks himself, does my intended action square with good common sense? That judge will not go far wrong.
I don't want to stray too much into this, but let me just ask you this. Do you think most of our lawyers and judges operate on that basis?
Every lawyer must be a logician, must have common sense.
But do they in practice?
Well, they do.
They do. Okay, glad to hear that. But what was the salient finding, Joe, of your resolution?
The elements of estafa under Article 315 and Article 318 of the revised Penal Code, the basic elements are deceit and damage. The deceit must exist prior or simultaneously with the commission of the fraud. In the evidence submitted to our office, which differs somewhat from the evidence submitted before the City Prosecutor's Office of Quezon City.
And from the Senate committee?
I don't know. In fact, I only read the news item when it appeared in the a paid advertisement, no? A paid ad
Senator,
about the report.
Have you seen a copy of the Masigla resolution?
Not yet. I have a copy here. All right. Deceit must be prior or simultaneous with the commission of the fraud. Here, the deceit consisted in the alleged change or modification of the rule regarding the security code, the alphanumeric security code, and its importance later on. And they said it was added while the promo is still going on. And in some affidavit, they have some evidence, they say it was a second thought or an afterthought. Therefore, deceit no longer exists because the deceit contemplated under the cases of estafa by deceit. There are two kinds of estafa, by deceit and by abuse of confidence.
Deceit, you're saying?
The deceit must exist prior or simultaneous with the commission of the fraud. Here, admitted by the complainant that the change, the modification was inserted after the 349 was announced and while the promo is going on. And they even say afterthought, second thought.
You're saying that
so it was subsequent act, no matter how fraudulent or suspicious.
We're getting very legalistic here.
Yes,
I'm glad you're a lawyer.
the commission of the fraud,
getting
it's
uncomfortable.
not the fraud contemplated under the law.
So you're saying that deceit was present at no point?
At no point.
Okay.
Now, damage is the second element. Damage, no? Okay, damage. In damage, what is the measure of the damage? In fact, we discussed this matter.
As I have stated before the Senate and the congressional public hearings extensively, both the lower house and the Senate has done extensive public hearings on this. And Pepsi-Cola's battery of highly paid lawyers were there, the DPI, so they were given due process by the committee of Senator Macapagal and the committee of Congressman Albertito Lopez. Now, I'll tell you what, there is deceit because in the first place, they ceded 800,000 crowns, okay? Based on the record minutes of the DTI task force. I have the copy of that. No less than Quintin Gomez say that. Okay. Secondly, the DTI and Pepsi knew all along, and they said it, that there are predetermined security codes in the book. Okay. Now, they knew this all along. How come not even a whimper or a squeak was mentioned in their ads and in their rules? So in other words, people were deceived. They thought that it was just a matter of getting a crown. They were able to deceive even the chairman of the board of Pepsi Cola.
Vic, you're talking about deceit. I'm being very truthful, and we have a gap coming up. So
Okay.
we'll do this in a minute. You were talking very truthfully about deceit, so please continue.
Well, it's like this. As I said, DTI and Pepsi knew all along that there is a need for these predetermined security codes to match the winning numbers. How come in all the materials, whether it's advertising, the TV commercials, radio commercials, print ads, posters, they never mentioned anything that you need to match the winning numbers announced daily with the predetermined security code.
Was this question asked in the hearing, Senator? And what was the answer?
Well, you know, according to them, it was the mistake of the Pepsi Cola United States. That's how they put it.
Well, surely it's beside the point. You know, I also make of record that we tried very hard to have someone from Pepsi appear with us tonight, but unfortunately we couldn't get anybody to come. So we shouldn't be directing these questions at the prosecutor because he is not speaking for Pepsi. He simply exercised a judicial function in writing his resolution. Senator, in your report, you seem to have borne down rather heavily on the Department of Trade and Industry. Why was that?
Well, you see, this shouldn't have really gone to the Senate. So the DTI is tasked with the function of serving the welfare of the consumer. So if I'll continue with my story, most of what I said in the beginning of the show, the account of what happened, was really the finding initially of the DTI task force. So we got the record as part of the judicial notice. And so because of the initial findings of the task force, the DTI proceeded to file an administrative case against Pepsi Cola for violation of its own Ministry Order number 33, which does not allow a change in the promotions rules and publication without express permission from the department. So they filed this administrative case against Pepsi Cola in their own Bureau of Domestic Trade and Regulation and Consumer Protection.
Nothing illegal about that.
But very early into the case, Pepsi Cola offered a compromise settlement to pay $150,000 and in return for no judgment. And DTI accepted that. And we find that one a violation of the spirit of its mandate to protect the welfare of the consumer.
Is there anyone chargeable criminally or administratively for that?
You know, Rudy, it's funny, you know, how the DTI could accept a compromise agreement and calling it a goodwill gesture without even consulting the consumers.
The people involved.
The people involved.
Can we have your opinion on that, Joe?
Well, I believe the maximum, well, let's call it a fine. The maximum is $150,000. So,
No, we're talking here about a compromise on behalf of...
on behalf of the members, the consumers,
It could be,
I cannot
The word is
give
not
any
even
opinion on that matter.
the word is not even a fine.
Yes.
It's Pepsi offered this as a goodwill gesture, you know, and DTI, we can't understand why the DTI accepted this as a goodwill gesture without Pepsi admitting anything.
There's no admission.
No admission of anything.
So what was the basis of the compromise?
It's just a goodwill gesture. That's the mystery about this thing. Now, how come the DTI accepted this offer as a goodwill gesture without even saying that, okay, this is a fine, that we'll accept this as a fine, and not as a goodwill gesture?
Have you gone after anybody in the DTI for this on behalf of your alliance members?